Hey everybody, Larry Mitchell here, and I wanted to talk about changing times as far as traveling. I do most of my gigs by plane. I fly someplace. Trying to change that. Might be driving a lot more, but I've been flying, and I've noticed that over the last 2 years, it's getting harder and harder to get on planes with guitars. It just is. Different airlines, different reasons. They're more packed, more luggage. Make sure you get on the plane as early as you can. If there's room for your guitar, then they usually let you bring it on. Not so much in Europe. I'm just noticing that. So I've done a lot of different things, including having a company. Kiesel Guitars was kind enough to make me a headless guitar as a travel guitar, and so it's smaller and it can get on there. Um, I have checked guitars before, and I've had airlines temporarily lose my guitars, misplace my guitars, and I've gotten them. Actually, I've gotten them all just in time. I got them in time to just in time. Last year I went to Australia. They have a new policy about no guitars on planes. I had a gig bag with me. I had to leave the guitars, two guitars in a double gig bag because I couldn't check them. I had to leave them with a friend of mine who dropped me off the airport, and I flew from Brisbane to Perth to headline a guitar festival with no guitars. No guitars. I was fortunate enough that the promoter picked me up at the airport, drove me to a music store he was friends with, and they let me pick a guitar, a couple guitars off the wall, and they set them up for me, and I took those to the festival and played the guitars. And which was great, but I wasn't used to those guitars, and the sounds were slightly different and stuff like that. It was fine. They were fine. I would have liked to have had my guitars or guitars that I was more familiar with, but very thankful to that music store for doing that. What I decided to do is some airlines, I still do that. I still fly with a double gig bag, and I can know I can get on first because I have status on that airline. Other airlines that do not have status. No status means you're going to board late, which means there's probably not going to be room for your guitar, and they're going to ask you to check it. So I have had this lovely thing for a while. This is the second version. I have the first version and the second version, and I've used it. It looks like it's never been used, but it has. Trust me, it's been on planes. That's a good way to. That's a good another good thing to talk about. That it still looks new. This is the Quantum Industries triple guitar case. I don't know if there's an actual separate name for it, but I call it the triple guitar case from Quantum Industries. If there is, I'll put it below. It is light. It rolls well. It's got great wheels. The wheels have not come off, been knocked off, even on the first case. Some of the cool things that they did was on this new version 2 is they recessed the locks so that you can avoid them getting hit. So it's got 3 latches on each side and 2 locks, the top and the bottom. And they're TSA locks, so you can set a combination, and only the TSA can open it, or someone who has a key. In fact, I can't remember my combination, so I'm going to unlock it. The bottom one's already unlocked. So what we have here is I'm able to get 3 guitars in here. In my case, 2 of my Nag Severin LM models and 1 Godin. I have a couple of the guitars, but the slots are meant for electric guitars. So if an acoustic guitar, if it's thin enough, it'll fit in here. If it's not thin enough, it's probably not going to fit. So I have this cool lid that has strings and picks. I use Dava picks. Let's see what else is in here. Folk nylon, D'Addario. Oh, that's right. These are the ball-in nylon strings. I do enjoy these. Ziploc bags, in-ear monitor, extra cables, an extra wireless that someone named Travis gave me at a show. More strings. Where are those picks? I thought I saw some picks in here. Yep, there you go. Nope. Keep reaching in and pulling. Oh, they're just loose in here. Some Dava picks. Highly recommend you check out those Dapper picks. Nail clippers, more strings. There's some tools that usually go in there. Not sure where they are. The case is pretty thin. Do you see? Just big enough for guitar, so it matches the measurements. Now, some airlines will charge you as if it's golf club size cases. Southwest golf clubs and this size case will fly free as your check, one of your check bags. Other airlines will charge you 150 bucks. There you go. So in here I have a couple of straps. There's some latches that case for in there. Some little tie downs that hook on here. And see, I have my Godin nylon. See, it's pretty thin, so it fits in that spot. So I'm able to do my acoustic stuff for my acoustic records. And then I have the main Nags Severin LM semi-hollow that I took and played most of this trip. As a backup, I have my Onyx, which was my main guitar for a long time, and it's still a great guitar. I just got used to playing the red one. And this is not a semi-hollow. This is full on solid body. So there it is. This is a great way to travel with guitars. I do check them. I do open the case up at the baggage claim. Sometimes it comes down the regular rolling, the regular conveyor belt. Sometimes it comes out on oversized bags. You never know. Depends on the airline, depends on the airport. It's never the same. Very inconsistent. But I have gotten used to, from my experience, of opening the case and checking out the guitars, make sure there's no damage before I leave the airport. Yeah, you have a better chance of getting some sort of compensation or making your case stronger if you've noticed the damage right away at the airport, then going home and doing it. So on this trip, I flew with this case, with these guitars checked, and I went from Atlanta to Albuquerque, did shows there, and then from Albuquerque to Portland, and did shows in Lebanon, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Vancouver, Washington. So these checked several times. Like I said, it still looks like it's new, and this actually has flown several times. I got this one, actually this particular case this year at NAMM. And it's flown 5-6 times, maybe. Each trip, there's multiple flights. So I checked that, and then I carried this tiny little thing. You see the size of it on. And this is the guitar that Kiesel Guitars made for me. By the way, Quantum makes a headless guitar case that I do want to check out. But this is tiny, and I was able to get this on the plane. I have a trip coming up to Europe. I'm not going to take this because this will cost me a ton each flight. And I don't necessarily need that many guitars. And this is one of the reasons I have several Nags that I have at my disposal throughout parts of Europe. Not all, but parts. So I might take this and or I might try and brave it and take one of those as carry-on. It's a little trickier carrying a guitar on in some of the internal flights in Europe. And plus, I'm going to do a thing for Emerald Guitars. And part of the first stop of that trip, music tour, is at the Emerald factory. And they're going to have some guitars for me. So I might not take any guitars again. I went to Europe this year in April. Went to France, Germany, and Mallorca, Spain. And took no guitar, which was trippy, felt weird, but very easy on the mind. And that's it. I wanted to show you guys the Quantum case, how I travel, with some really nice, really expensive, irreplaceable guitars.